Okay, so never mind about being intentional with my purchases. Fall is here, the best season for fragrances, and I went in. Come back and I'll break down my over $3,000 fragrance haul, but you gotta come back. Come back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video of Smell Good with Jenna. I'm, of course, Jenna. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're into fragrance reviews, layering combos, and just smelling like you got your life put together, then you know what you gotta do. Stay blessed, like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into it. Let me know in the comments if you guys like the new digs and wanted to try something a little bit different, just with the new season and everything like that. You get a new intro, new end screen for if you watch all the way to the end, background music, and you get a glimpse of my collection. It actually starts on the top shelf over here and comes all the way down. And I'm a little different when I separate my fragrances. I do it by seasons as opposed to houses. So like I said, a little bit different. And I obviously added with this, you heard in the intro, I spent well over $3,000 with this new haul, and we definitely added to the collection. I can't help it. I know I said I wanted to be intentional this past year when it comes to fragrances, but man, fall winter time is my favorite time to rock fragrances, and I'm just really into like those boozy, spicy, ambery, vanilla type of fragrances. So this is obviously the perfect time to do a big haul, right? Now, you guys' attention span it's never fully there. So instead of doing the full haul in one video, I'm separating them into two parts. So we obviously have the first part now. We'll talk about 11 fragrances, and then on Friday I'll drop the other video and discuss the other 12 fragrances. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so first up in my fragrance haul, we have from the Dior Privé line, Ambre Nuit. Now, I actually have a sample of the Spirit one as well, but I just think the OG is king. I remember I received a sample of this last year when I purchased Vanille Diorama, and I really enjoyed this, but I knew I fell more in love with it this year because, as I've mentioned, my taste has completely changed, or evolved rather, where I'm now more into spicier, darker, boozier scents, and this one is right up that alley. Shout out to the sales rep that me and my best friend purchased from, who we purchased from, because she gave us a really good deal. I'm talking about 15% off. Was it 15% off the whole fragrance and then $50 off of every 150? I don't know, but it was just like two sales on top of one. So of course it was like a no-brainer to pick these up. But this is such a beautiful scent. It's spicy, it's bold, it's rich, it's smooth, it has a beautiful central rose in it. I think this is going to shine in this upcoming season and even in the winter time, just perfect for cooler weather. So super excited to try Dior's Ambre Nuit. Next up we have Byredo from Vanille Antique. Vanille Antique from Byredo. I'm not the biggest fan of the house. I'm just not wowed by a lot of the fragrances, but I had my eyes on Vanille Antique just because, again, you guys know I want to have the best vanilla collection ever. And I hear a lot of people talk about Vanille Antique all the time. So I definitely had to try this one out. I remember smelling this after I bought Dior's Ambre Nuit. I went to the Byredo stand, and me and my best friend smelled this one, and we both fell in love with this. I don't have any plum in my collection. I think plum is a challenging note for me, specifically on my skin. And I don't say that a lot about a lot of notes, but something about plum I don't really care for. But this is really, really sexy, dark, boozy, and you can see the juices is already dark, so I can only imagine as it continues to macerate and whatnot, how much deeper and sweeter this vanilla is going to be. So I saw that Max Aroma not only wound up getting this in stock, but also on sale, so I jumped at it, and now we have it in my collection. So if you haven't already, check out Byredo's Vanille Antique. Next up, we have from Matiere Premier, Radical Rose. So I finally got out of the toxic mindset of just because I have a certain size from a specific house, that all my fragrances from the house has to be the same size. So with Radical Rose, I'm trying to get it out the box for you guys so we can take a gander. So Radical Rose, I had vanilla powder, by the way. That was my first fragrance from this house. I got a 3.4 ounce. I decided to get a 1.7 ounce. I really didn't need 3.4, even though I think this is a beautiful rose fragrance. If you guys saw my birthday layering combo video earlier, a couple of months ago, I had sampled Radical Rose and I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. I got this from Olfactory. I think, don't quote me on the price, I think maybe $115, $120 I got this for. But this is such a beautiful rose. I think it's earthy and grounded. It reminds me a little bit of the rose in Tom Ford's Cafe Rose, and I just love that scent. And I think this is actually a beautiful transitional scent for the fall. So I was just really, really excited to pick this one up, and we got it. So if you haven't already, check out Matiere Premier's Radical Rose. Okay, so the next fragrance we have in our haul, right? If it's our haul, y'all can, I'll give you the cash app. You can send me the money to pay these bills off. But next up we have from Bond Number 9, Number 1. So I had no idea about this fragrance. Wasn't planning on picking up any other fragrances from Bond Number 9 except for one, and we'll talk about that in Friday's video. But they had sent me a couple of samples in the mail they have my information from when I visited them a couple of years ago, and I purchased their Greenwich Village body soap. And from time to time, they'll send me samples I've already smelled, I already have, that I really don't pay them much mind at this point. That sounds shady, but it's the truth. But one of the fragrances they wound up sending me, Number 1, didn't expect anything of it, but I said, let me just test it out. And oh my goodness, I actually regret smelling it, because then the wheels in my head started turning. I'm like, I need this. But this one is beautiful. This is a floral, ylang-ylang, musky vanilla type of fragrance, and I was just completely blown away. I'm a big fan of Bond Number 9 fragrances in general. I know they've caught slack over the years for certain reasons, but this one I feel like they made an impression. Y'all forgot about us. This one right here is stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. And I got this one from Valencia Fragrances for about $200 or so, and I'm completely sold. So I'm definitely excited to wear this upcoming fall season. Think it might be really nice transitional and into other seasons. Check this one out if you haven't already. That's Bond Number 9's Number 1. So next up we have from Born to Stand Out, Drunk Lovers. This was actually my first introduction to the house. I remember going into the scent bar and a girl there wanted to purchase a cinnamon type of scent. And me thinking I was the expert, named off a couple of things. One of the sales associates showed her Drunken Lovers, and I wanted to smell it, and I was instantly like, oh, okay, this is nice. So fast forward 5 bottles later, I finally have Drunken Lovers in my possession. I got this from Max Aroma, I believe, for like $164. And I think the reason why I held off getting Drunk Lovers was because with notes of cinnamon, and I think there's some booze in here as well, you don't want to have redundancy in your collection, although that's bound to be the case. But with fragrances like Angel Share, Side Effect, I'm like, this might smell similar to that. It doesn't, in my opinion, but I will say this does fall a little bit more on the masculine leaning side, which that doesn't matter to me, because if you guys know, I love masculine scents, but some might be a little too masculine leaning, and I'm afraid that might be the case with this one, but we'll see testing it out. But I think this is going to be a beautiful fragrance for the fall and winter season. So if you haven't already, check out Born to Stand Out's Drunk Lovers. Okay, so next up we have from Lorenzo Pazzaglia. Of course, Lorenzo Pazzaglia fragrances was going to make its way onto this haul, right? We have Coffee Passion. So apparently this is a collabo between a boutique in France, Fragrance Passion. So as you can see, actually it says FP on the packaging. They released it a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, out there. Fragrance Passion was going to sell it first, and I believe the official website for Lorenzo Pazzaglia, and then November 1st would be a worldwide release. If you've seen my videos, you know I'm a big coffee fragrance lover, and I'm on the quest for the perfect coffee. So Lorenzo Pazzaglia, a coffee fragrance, I'm all in. So me being really impatient, I wound up getting this for what, $164, which is fantastic, right? Or no, I'm sorry, it was like $145. Fantastic. However, I had to pay for tariffs, which was about $71. And we'll talk about that in a review video later on. But my impatient self paid a little bit more than I should have. But we got it in our possession, because this is a joint effort, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you, first impression, I'm not too sure about this. I think there's a hazelnut note that's very pronounced in this, and I was looking more for a coffee forward scent, but you know, I still have to play around with this one. But smelling it now, honestly, it's not that bad. The initial spray, the hazelnut was very overpowering. So we'll see once I actually really test it out and wear it in the wild. But per usual, you know, I had to add Lorenzo Pazzaglia fragrances to the collection. So if you haven't already, check out Coffee Passion. It releases worldwide November 1st. Next up from our haul, we have from Nasomatto Baraonda. I believe I said that right. I said it smoothly, somewhat. But as I've mentioned, my taste has changed drastically. I'm into ambery, spicy, boozy scents, and I'm on a hunt for the top boozy fragrances. So I heard that Baraonda is one of the ones, and it was between this, honestly, and Unique's Couté, but I heard this one is a lot smoother, and the price tag was cheaper than Couté, so I decided to go with this one for $115, and I got it off of Vemba Fragrances. This reminds me of when I did drink. One of my favorite drinks would be to order would be ginger whiskey or whiskey ginger, however you guys say it. But I always, if I went to a bar or something like that, that would be my drink of choice. So this exactly reminds me of that. It's smooth, but this is not for the faint. Disclaimer, we'll review this later on, but go light on the sprays with this one, because you will definitely be smelling like an alcoholic, and we don't want that. But I find this really smooth and intoxicating off of first impression, so I'm definitely excited to see what this is giving. So if you haven't already, check out Nasomatto's Baraonda. Next up, we have from Bohoboco Wet Cherry Liquor. This was a fragrance that I planned on picking up later on in the year, but I bought this off of Fragrance Passion with Coffee Passion just to save on the shipping, and plus it was cheaper than what I was seeing it elsewhere. But it wound up costing me a little bit more because, again, as I mentioned, I had to pay for tariffs. So, but it wasn't too bad considering. But like I've mentioned, I was on the hunt for top boozy scents, and this is one that's constantly mentioned. This one smells exactly what the name is. It's a wet cherry, and there's a little bit of a booze note in there, not overly boozy. But this was all first impression. We'll see as we play along with it, but definitely excited to add this to my collection. So if you haven't already, check out Bohoboco's Wet Cherry Liquor. Next up, we have a classic one from Maison Margiela's Replica line, Jazz Club. This one, me and Jazz Club have a love-hate relationship, or at least we did. I smelled this originally on my boyfriend a couple of years ago and thought it smelled really nice on him. But I was still, even though I was into fragrances for years, I was very much under the impression you stick to feminine fragrances, masculine for the guys, obviously. As my taste grew, I wound up getting a sampler set from Sephora, and one of the fragrances that was in it was Jazz Club. I smelled it and still did not like it. I thought it was just, I was not feeling it. But again, my taste has changed. Now I'm into boozier, spicier, smokier scents. This one grabbed my attention. It smells so good. But I still didn't think it smelled good on me. I still felt it leaned a little bit more masculine. This year, I'm like, you know what? This is your vibe now. Let me try it again this year. And I fell in love with how it dried down on my skin. So I got this for a really good price off of Joma Shop for $87. and I'm finally excited, right? I'm excited to rock this season. So if you haven't already, I'm sure you have, check out from Maison Margiela's Jazz Club. Okay, so next up we have from Day 3 Fragrances, La Tacita de Café. I heard about Day 3 fragrances from a group that I'm in on Instagram, but I heard about this fragrance in particular from someone who made a comment on one of my videos on here, said I should try La Tacita de Café. So I said bet, because I'm on the hunt for the perfect coffee fragrance. So when I did my research on this, I heard, or rather saw a lot of people mention this was a little bit masculine leaning, kind of gave you that barbershop vibe. And as much as I love masculine scents, heck, more than feminine these days, I still don't want, there's a line that got to be drawn, right? I don't want to smell like the bro. And like I'm just coming out the barbershop. So I was a little hesitant. When I typically blind buy things, I decided to sample this from Scent Split. Tested it, loved it. And of course, they actually, since I sampled it, they gave me a discount code, a bigger one than they typically provide. And I said, all right, you know what, let's buy it. And I wound up getting it for, I think, about $150. I don't remember. Don't quote me, but I got a really good deal off of this one and was really excited to add this to my collection. Is it the perfect coffee fragrance? No, but it is really nice. It actually reminds me of Maison Margiela's Replica Coffee Break, except it doesn't have that lavender note in there. This is something that I'm really excited to try in the upcoming fall winter season. So if you haven't already, check out Day 3's La Tacita de Café. And the last fragrance from part 1 of my fragrance haul, we have the controversial, it might be dramatic calling it controversial, but we have from Valentino, Donna, Born in Roma, the Ivory. Now, this one has caught a lot of attention on social media, a lot of hate, if you will, because I honestly don't know what people were expecting. I guess when you hear a marshmallow note, you're expecting something just gooey and sweet, and marshmallows definitely has had a run in the fragrance community as of late. So I almost was turned off because I heard so many bad reviews, but I wound up going to a doctor's appointment and there was a Sephora in the area. So I said, you know what, let me check out some of these fragrances and see what it's giving. I was also turned off by the fact this is $190 for the Donna version, where the Womo was only $165. I don't like that. Like, why are we spending more than the guys? So that almost turned me off. But again, I said, let me get my own opinion as opposed to going with other people, because, you know, obviously everyone doesn't have the same opinion. And needless to say, everyone does not have the same opinion. This one, baby, is gorgeous. I don't know what people were thinking when it came to this fragrance, but this is incredible. If you love, I don't want to get too much into the review. We'll get into that. But if you're into the Born in Roma DNA, that you have that, and then you just add marshmallow. Beautiful scent. Again, I don't know what people were thinking, but I'm glad I formed my own opinion instead of going with the masses, because I would have missed out on a really dope fragrance in my opinion. So still, yes, you still have some time. This is limited edition, but make sure you get your nose on it before you go and write it off, because everyone isn't wowed by it. Or you don't even go with what I said. Just do yourself a favor and get your nose on Valentino's Donna, Born in Roma, the Ivory. All right, see, I don't feel overwhelmed. That's my video. Like I mentioned, this is part 1 of my fragrance haul. We still have 11 more fragrances to talk about. So if you like what I picked up, definitely comment, let me know. Stay tuned for the next video on Friday. Like, comment, and subscribe. Stay blessed. And always remember, the best compliment one can get is that you smell so good.